Has Nike created the best recovery shoe money can buy? Today, let's explore the Nike ZoomX Invincible Run. Hey, what's poppin'? Jordan Thomas here, helping simplify tech and running to improve your life. Look, spring is finally sprang, and I have a highly anticipated shoe in the house. Today, we're going to be covering the Nike ZoomX Invincible Run. Although the release time frames were a little bit challenging, these are finally available to the public, and I want to thank Roadrunner Sports for sending me a pair over for testing. So let's jump into the details. One of the things I noticed straight out of the box is they reminded me of Cadillac One. That's right, AKA the Beast, AKA the presidential town car. These two look like subtly just like very robust, powerful, but commanding attention somehow. And so I wouldn't expect anything less from a Nike shoe. You've got some additional reflectors on there, which are gonna help add some additional visibility. There is this somewhat questionable straight edge along the heel. I imagine there was a way to have a little bit less foam on there, but it just looks a little weird. I do like the nice touches of the check marks throughout, as well as the ZoomX branding, but I would love to see like a behind design to get some more understanding of why they went for straight edge. This is the second shoe that I reviewed in the last few months or so where I've seen that, and I hope that that's not necessarily a trend. So the next thing we got to talk about is the weight. Coming in at 12 ounces for 11.5, it's certainly heavier than a Pegasus, but definitely heavier than a Vaporfly. Now, let's talk about the midsole. ZoomX, hands down, my favorite midsole. The thing that I like about this is the fact that it's stacked on stacked on stacked, and there's no carbon fiber plate, which means that this helps provide a light and airy sensation. I think that's the way to describe this. Think about if you've ever had one of those like French macaroons that on the outside it looks like it's super dense, but once you press your teeth into it, it compresses really nicely. That's how I would describe the sensation of having this much ZoomX in a shoe without any type of plate. Going on to the upper, one of the interesting things about this is I think this is where the shoe could stand to lose some weight, but I think it actually could be done in a very strategic way. I thought that this is actually one of the better versions of a Flyknit because it still seems to emulate that of like a real fabric. It's got a great level of breathability, you know, all the buzzwords, all the strategic area holes where you're gonna have a decent level of breathability. The lacing system is pretty standard. As a person who's been running a lot of miles in these, I appreciate the fact that there is some additional cushioning on the inside of the collar. However, I think that Nike could stand to lose some of the external cushioning. I think that it could be there though as a durability thing. And so if you're frequently putting these on, putting these off, you could wear out the outer part of this. Now let's move on to the outsole. This was actually really unique in that they went with a mini waffle outsole pattern, which I thought was a good way to get high level of traction while still trying to keep the weight down as much as possible. Now overall, this shoe is going to be considered like a recovery day type shoe, so weight isn't so much of an issue, but I thought it was an interesting dynamic to have to navigate through with this particular shoe, and so that's why I'm spending some additional time on it. Now it's about fit. This for me, for $180, was a very good fit. True to size, 11.5 for me. I think that when trying to evaluate how well a shoe fits for you, there's a few different dimensions you should be looking at. First and foremost is like the distance from front to back. So 11.5 for me gave me about like a thumb worth of room, which is gonna be good for movement, keep it moving. The 4-foot/toe box area I thought was very spacious. It's generous for sure. I think that gives you two types of things going on. One, it's gonna give your feet a good amount of room to move around in. Also, when it comes to just stability on the shoe, you're gonna be less likely to tip over because you're getting a nice wide base. When it comes to the midfoot, I thought this was actually very good fit. There's a lot of play because of the lacing there is also the space. You can really like dial that part in to make sure that you got a nice secure fit. And then going back to the collar, again, the combination of the collar and the tongue make for a very secure fit. And then when it comes to the heel cup, I felt like very locked in. Now, let's talk about the most important thing when it comes to a running shoe, of course, is the performance. Tested is out for like easy, like general, like under 6 miles, between 6 miles and 10 plus. And then just for me having a good time, I wanted to try it out for some 400-meter intervals and fartleks. And so here are my results. Overall, the best distance to be using these shoes for are definitely gonna be anything where you're gonna be on your feet for a long time. So a long time for me would be like an hour plus type run. When I took this for like a 10.5 mile run through the neighborhood, Crenshaw, neighborhood in my own area here in Long Beach, I just enjoyed it. Like it was just a nice to just be like so securely in there, just My feet felt really good. My legs felt good the day after. When it came to easier runs, I found myself going about like 15 or so seconds faster than my typical easier day run. However, when you're going for less than an hour, it's hard to appreciate like how good this shoe feels. Now, the interesting thing that happened is when I tried these out for speed work. So the first workout I actually took these out for was for a fartlek. And I knew that the shoe had the potential of failing because it's more of a recovery day type shoe. I just wanted to see what would happen. And so when I took it out, I was going between like 10K and half marathon pace, and I was pleasantly surprised. I was actually able to maintain pace. Now, when it came to trying to go at like my 5K pace or faster, I struggled. I felt like I was sinking. So this shoe is certainly not necessarily designed for that. And then I went ahead and just took it to the track. I was like, okay, maybe I had an off day. And so I began my 12 by 400 meter workout in the same shoe. And I was actually able to hit like just underneath my 5K pace, but I was struggling to get there. And so just as a point of clarification, I made sure to try these out versus the Vaporfly Next Percent, as well as the Dragonfly. Naturally, the Dragonfly was gonna be the fastest shoe, but I wanted the baseline with this and recognizing that the Vaporfly was gonna be the one in the middle. So who do I think should buy these? Well, first and foremost, if you place a premium on recovery, then you're gonna enjoy these. For $180, that's a lot of premium that you're gonna certainly put on a recovery day type item. I'd say skip these though, if you're looking for like a one-stop shoe. I think that even in the overall Nike line, there's just a number of other options that are gonna give you a wider range of paces. And the other thing I would say about this particular shoe is that Nike got the marketing kind of like messed up on this one. The fact that the dates were not great and the fact that there's just so much push on these shoes won't get you injured. I think a better play for these is that these shoes will help you recover. I know it's not sexy, but it's actually, I think, more accurate to what is taking place. And it's what had me excited about the shoe and being able to incorporate another shoe that has ZoomX into my overall lineup. And so if you're trying to figure out like where this shoe should fit in your rotation, I feel like this is like a number 3 type shoe. Number 1 still being like your everyday type trainer, your 2 being like your race option. And then if you place like recovery at a higher value, then I would say this could be your number 3. Or if you place speed at a higher value, then this would be like your number 4. So are these the best recovery shoes that money can buy? I would say easily yes. ZoomX in there, all the right design subtleties and touches are in place. All the cushiony parts need to be cushiony. The shoe offers a soft, light and airy type of ride without being too mushy. I mean, the only thing that Nike got wrong on this was the dates in terms of when it was gonna be released. And I look at it in the same light that I would look at the movie Tenet, who kept pushing the dates, kept pushing the dates back. But I definitely still bought it and still watch it a lot because it's a really great movie. And that's the way I would look at this shoe. Let me know what questions you have about these. In the meantime, if you're looking for another sneaker review, check this out. And if you want to check something else out, check this out. I'll see you next time. Jordan Thomas, peace.